Mm-hmm. I feel you on that. I do feel you on that. I feel you on that.
I love the way that you
Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened with my
talk about
camera, but I'm
things.
back.
Like when we were there the other night, and you know how I knew that it was 211, that the murders were under 300 before Freddie Gray from yeah, you know how I knew that?
How?
That because Pastor P.M. Smith did a book, and he would go around
Sorry,
and he
guys.
would
I don't know
hand
what
it out.
happened to my camera.
And not only did he get the commissioners from so many, but he documented from '09 all the way up to 2015, Kelly. And up to 2015, the murders were under 300. And then Freddie Gray happened. So my thing was, right, what happened after Freddie Gray? But I'm so glad that you brought up Sean Suter. You know why?
Why?
Because when that happened, my question was always and will be to the end of time, how can you have somebody that's supposed to be a witness for a federal investigation? And listen to this, Kelly. The gun trace task force was 6 young brothers. You know, there were 6 young brothers that could have been, out in the street, helping these young men, mentoring them, getting guns off the street. It was only one white guy. That's number one. But Sean Suter was supposed to be a federal witness the next day.
The next day. The next day.
We not stupid. I don't know why they think we so stupid. Now listen to this, Kelly. My question has always been, how can you let somebody, I don't care if he wanted to go to work, and his wife always said he ain't commit suicide, but how can you let him go to work on the day before he's supposed to be a federal witness?
Thank you.
Always been my question, Kelly. And his wife always said he didn't kill himself. And the partner he had that day said it was somebody with a jacket on with a stripe. So that's always been my question, Kelly. And our police officers, I love our police officers, man, and I'm especially our women police officers. A woman police officer, Kelly said, when a 1-year-old and
Okay, Katina.
parent got shot, a 1, 2-year-old, she said the whole Baltimore City is my community.
That's right.
Women police officers, because my women police officers, more than anybody, has been out there in the community. But Tyrone Powers, FBI agent. See, Kelly, when we get stuff from the professionals, then I can put it together. See, now I know why the commissioner had called for the FBI, because FBI agent Tyrone Powers said we need a strong strategic bond between police and the feds because of the resources that they have and stuff like that, and the absence of the rhetoric of the political, the politics. Take the politics out of it. Let the commissioner do his job. Let our officers do their job. You have a good day, sister. Thank you, and you keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Absolutely. I like what Mark said, and what really bothers me is that I felt this morning what I felt when I saw that Detective Suter had been gunned down. He too was taken to the hospital, and unfortunately, he didn't make it. I am praying for this family. I'm praying for this officer. I'm praying for her to pull through. But it was shockingly similar this morning when I looked at the news. And I'm sorry to out front say, without a thorough investigation, that this officer was ambushed. I don't know if they can say that right at this moment. I'm going to pick up with Sherry. Sherry, you're on Face the Facts. Good morning.
Good morning, Kelly, and I want to congratulate you to your 1-year anniversary. You and Sean, because y'all make a good team.
You and Sean. You and Sean.
It would be successful without both of y'all doing it. And I'm
Sean!
And Kelly, I'll be so glad when this year is over. I'm ready for 2021 to be over and come in with 2022. Because this has been a rough year, I think, for everybody. My prayers will definitely go out to the family of this officer that was shot. So I'm going to stay tuned and I'm going to listen, and you're absolutely right in what you're saying. But Kelly, let me ask you this. Where was Dr. Ron?
You know what? I talked to Dr. Ron. That's funny you said that. Dr. Ron hit me up last week for my sweet potato recipe. And I've got to call him anyway. I'm pretty sure Dr. Ron is listening, but I will tell him that you asked about him.
Yes, because you know what? That man got me through a psych issue. I need the next psych man to come back in here for just one show.
I'm going to try to get him in here next week.
Intellect sometimes, Kelly. So, Kelly, please be safe and have a good weekend, you and Sean. And will you be back before the holidays?
Of course, you know, me and Sean got this thing this year. We doing all holidays. So, yes, we'll be in.
Be looking to hear from you then. All right, well, you have a good day, and please let Dr. Ryan come out the end of the year out.
I sure will. I sure will. Thank you, ma'am. Bye-bye. Gonna go back to Facebook Live. Katina says there is a show coming out on HBO next year called We Own This City that is about the GTTF cops and Sean Suiter. Keep an eye out for it because they are corrupt, as you know what. And HBO just stopped shooting here 2 weeks ago. Thanks, Katina. So yeah, you gotta watch the documentary. Really, you do, because if you look at the documentary, there's so many facts that were in it that are proven in it that were not given to the public, and that is one thing that I don't like. Now, there's a lot of criticism when it comes to the police officer that was injured this morning, as far and the criticism comes in with our city government. On the news, as I told you, we have Mayor Scott, and a lot of people feel as though it's the same song on a different day. And then a lot of families who are connected to someone who was murdered or shot this year feel as though, with all the corruption that happens in city government and with the police department, for an all call to be made this early when their loved one was gunned down or murdered, they did not get the same press. They did not get anyone who got out of their bed and came. And it seems as if it's a woman, if it's a child, or, if it's one of what we would call the big cases, they will roll out of bed and everything else. But when it's just the average person, the same attention is not given from the start to get answers on the case. It becomes just a news mention where it's like a 18-year-old was shot in West Baltimore, and if you have any information, call Crime Stoppers. I mean, and I would have to agree with them. I feel as if every victim and every family deserves the same amount of attention from city government, attention from the news media outlets, attention, period. But this story, although it is sad, I won't take away from that. And although it's very unfortunate for an officer or anybody for that matter to be gunned down when all they're doing is they're sitting in their patrol cruiser, I would have to side with those who say, well, what about when my brother was shot? He didn't get this much play. He didn't get this much coverage. When we come back from the break, I want to talk about a certain news outlet. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to say their name. I'm not going to advertise for them. But I want to talk about the movements of a certain news outlet that describes our city a certain kind of way, describes our leadership a certain kind of way, almost stalks our mayor, almost stalks our state's attorney, stalks all of our city leadership. And I want to talk about the boundaries of the media. They pose it as we're going to get the answers for you. Well, maybe you should have been a private investigator or something. It's not your job to run around and chase people. And we're gonna unpeel it. I'm gonna talk about a certain news reporter that, we all saw it. The mayor repeatedly shuts down and has no problem with shutting down. But then there's a reason for that too. So we're going to unpeel all of that. You guys can call in 410-481-1010. That's 410-481-1010 because we are going to face the facts on this media outlet that would seem to describe our city that we love as a city in crisis, that would seek to describe our children's school, you know, crisis in city schools, schools in crisis. Everything about it is in crisis. And we're going to talk about the effect that would play on a community. When that's preached to you over and over and over again, to nauseum, are you really helping at the end of the day? Are you, as a news outlet, pushing the good stories? I mean, this news outlet went as far. This is no joke. They went as far as to set up a porch pirate setup. I'm dead serious, Sean. They set up a camera on a tree. They had packages delivered to somebody's house so they could catch the porch pirate culprit red-handed. And then they aired it and they wanted people to turn this person in. And I was like, how far is too far? I mean, you can report about that stuff, but is it your job to go and play Sherlock Holmes? We're going to talk about it right here on Face the Facts. You can call in 410-481-1010, 410-481-1010. This is Face the Facts with Kelly Vaughn on WOLB. Oh, they are? I got to act right. Hey, Carlton. You're right, Charles. I could talk all day long. I gotta act like I got some sense today.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore, an Urban One radio station, minority controlled,
and operate and serving the African American community for over 40 years.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio One, its sponsors, or advertisers.
I thought you was playing Snoop. Oh, you ain't getting me in trouble. Nope, I ain't playing. Don't get me in trouble this year. I've been good. That's next week. No, we got 2 weeks. All right, we get it. We get it after the show. Yes. Welcome to Face the Facts. This is Face the Facts with Kelly Vaughn. We're back, and I'm getting ready to, I gotta reminisce throughout the show. I'm gonna be pulling up some memories, but I remember 2 weeks or a week before this show aired, I was sent a cease and desist letter. And it was sent to the station too. And there was a time that I didn't know if this show was gonna go forward. But I'm so glad that freedom of speech exists and I'm right here where I belong. Someone from Facebook says, the question is, what is wrong with setting up a thief? wrong with it. I could see if the homeowner had gone through those measures. But I mean, y'all know, I'm going to just be real about it. Where do you draw the line as a journalist or a news media outlet? I mean, is it really your job to go and purchase a nature camera, set it up on a tree, see if you can see this culprit? Like, the homeowner, and this is what's interesting about this story. When asked what the police were doing about it, the homeowner said, I didn't call the police because I'm told they won't do much about it. So if this homeowner doesn't invest in a Ring camera, which is very simple, to catch this kind of stuff after it has happened over and over and over again, why does this news media outlet feel the need to do so? And where do you draw the line? A lot of setups have happened through this outlet. And it's like, how many times do you guys, how far is too far when it comes to journalism? Now, I might have questions and stuff. I might see a case and I might have questions about it, or and it's okay for me to go to the courthouse and grab the records because it's public record. But I'm not about to be setting up a camera at somebody's house to see what they be doing, or if they really shady, or, like, how far is too far? It's too much. And this happens with this outlet a lot. This is the same outlet that went and found out where our state's attorney's children go to school and released that on the news. This is the same outlet that went and dug up some other things about our city officials and released that on the news for no reason, just because some of them refused to talk to this outlet. So it's just too much. I'm not going to do that right now. But this is an issue that is becoming, they even broadcasted how the mayor doesn't like a certain reporter. Like, there was a whole 20-minute segment of coverage talking about this. And I'm like, I'm sure there's so much more going on in this city that could be reported. But because they have their own personal thing where it's like, nobody wants to talk to us, I kind of see why. Jean, you're on Face the Facts. Jean, good morning.
Kelly, I want to apologize because I wanted you to really lay this out and peel onions back on this journalism and our amendment rights, the Bill of Rights, 10 amendments, especially the First Amendment. And I think that this is kind of where you're going with this.
That's exactly where I'm going with it. Can you peel it?
Yes, I can. And so this morning it was so outstanding in reference to what David Anthony Wiggins was saying, what we can say and how we can say it. It's almost like, you can go into a theater and scream fire. Right? And so that's the basis of the First Amendment and your freedom of speech.
Let me just no. One sec, Jane, because no. I'm gonna pause you real quick because he don't like me at all. So in the same token as he was talking about that earlier, he also wants to tell me what to say and what not to say and how to say it on my show.
Because I'm trying to think of what's his name? What's the name of the guy?
Who are you talking to?
Benjamin Franklin said this. A lot of times, the mistake that we make when we talk about things like revolution, etc., is like our revolution is legal and their revolution is not legal. And so we talk in the first person, and then when we talk about other people, we talk in the third person. But really, what happens is that the other people, they say the same thing. They speak in the first person, and they are against the people in the third voice, in the third person. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you if you have an understanding of the English language, this is what we do. We're right, they're wrong. In some cases, he's going to say that you're wrong, and so what's authority. It's the interpretation. Okay, I don't say certain people you have to be careful whose name you speak. I just call Darren Muhammad because he's part of the Black think tank, right? And so I want his advice, and I want to be able to talk to him personally and talk to David. But I don't have David's number, right? I have your information, Kelly. I do not have a problem, and I have a way of contacting you. And this is, to me, this is what happens. And when we talk about, okay, then we talk about things, and then we talk about the press and what the press does or does not do for us or against us. But if you could call up a person who's a person who is a journalist, and you can have a dialogue with them, I think we could clear up a lot of issues. There's so many different ways that I would like to go with this, but I think that this subject that you are about to engage in is so important because to be a journalist, you don't have to have a license. You don't have to have any degrees, and you can be a journalist because it's your First Amendment right.
Correct.
So many different opinions. And another thing, too, I just want to put something out there. William Randolph Hearst. If people would just go and on
Look at you.
YouTube.
Look at God.
Because we use YouTube as
So nice.
for confirming things.
I needed this.
Look up William Randolph Hearst, and you're going to get a lesson into what journalism is really about.
Well, thank you, Gene. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you as well. You too. Another question that came up on Facebook is, would you go undercover on a story? Depends on what it is. And this is another place where this media outlet has gone way too far. I can remember going to this is a true story. That's why when I saw this question on Facebook, it just blew my mind. I remember going back and forth to protest. Now, during the protest, we had many initiatives. We had voter registration. We celebrated uh, breast cancer survivors, period. We had flag days where we had all the Afro-American flags that we waved in pride. We wore African attire. We did different things at the protest site to, number one, keep ourselves relevant, and number two, let this neighborhood and this community know that we're about a serious work, and we are very engaged with our community, and we love our Black community. So however that was, whether we were dealing with voting rights, whether we were dealing with voter registrations, whether we had a health symposium right there on site, we had things for the children that were happening across the street from the protest site and everything. So I noticed for a few days, and any of the protesters can attest to this, I am being followed into Middle River and out of Middle River every single day. This went on for like a week. Do you know that I found out that it was someone from that news media outlet? Now, the thing that makes it crazy about it is I had one real news press conference during the protest. That was mine. Other times I would call the media outlets, and I don't know if someone was paying them behind the scenes not to come or whatever, but they would not come out. The only outlet that would come out is the Baltimore Sun. They would come out religiously whenever I called them, but one by one, station by station, they wouldn't come out. And then I found it odd that they were following me. And who was the person following me? The same person that will not deal with that our mayor will not answer any questions for. I thought that was crazy. But they were in an unmarked car. And I think that they were doing that just to see what kind of life I lived outside of the protest. And that is too far. I am sorry. It's too far. For you to come in an unmarked car, it's not a news vehicle, and for you to follow me. And all I would do after protest, really, I would go out and grab something to eat with the protesters, or I would just go home, or I would go to work, or I would go to my parents' house. But each and every time for a week solid, they would follow me, to the point I told one of my male protesters what was going on. And he started following me out to a safe spot, and then they laid off. That's too far. That's way too far. You want to know about my life? Come ask me about my life. Ask questions. That's what the media is supposed to do. Not follow me, stalk me, and try to see what I'm doing outside of the protest lines. So I'm really saying that media outlets, there's a line that has to be drawn. There's a time and a place, and there's a space that, you know, you gotta really peel back and say, is this a step over journalism? Is this, am I going too far? Am I doing too much? So, Doc Cheatham, you're on Face the Facts. Good morning.
Hey, Miss Kelly, how are you?
Doing fabulous, sir. How are you?
Good, good day. Let me say to you very clearly that some news media, my 25 years, showed me that they are about not reporting news, but making news.
Right.
They have to be very careful and cautious of who they are and what they're intended to do. When I'm not challenging the fire department.
What he is?
So racism for an all-white graduating class, they tried to destroy me, but they didn't know that I was taping video and audio every time I spoke.
Thank you, Emmy J.
So be very careful. Some media is in the business to make news, not report news. But Kelly, keep doing what you're doing. We love you, dear. And let me shut up and keep listening to your show.
Thank you, sir. Love you much. Tyrone Bose, you on Face the Facts. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. First of all, I wanted to say that yes, they were wrong to follow you to your home.
He was eating.
You actually have people pull a knife in one of your protesters. You have somebody go to one of your protesters' homes and break a door, a screen door. That's what she was telling me.
Big time.
Yeah, big time. But a lot of strange things happen. So the last thing you need is somebody following you and you not know who they are in a car during that time, because you were in great danger, I believe, during that time. But you were brave enough to persevere, and I respect you and I commend you on your efforts to stop people from extracting wealth from the black community at the same time they're insulting them. By calling them words, all this stuff.
You know it.
But at any rate, I was one of the people, as far as the news media, you didn't have to request me to come on my show.
That's right. You came to the protest site to see what was going on. And I remember, because at first you laid back and like, okay, let me check out everything in its totality. And you don't know how much we appreciated that, to have somebody who would fairly report what was going on at the protest site.
And I put you on Uncut. Let you say your side of the story Uncut. And I even called into the right wing radio, I ain't gonna say the number, but Player Radio, and I had to rebut a lot of stuff they were putting out that were false about you.
Yeah.
But I called you and Ricky the night I did it. So I supported everything you guys were doing, and following people, children to their schools. I mean, that is going too far. The church has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So and I'm not totally against people reporting corruption of our politicians, but they haven't shown me that they did anything so far. So telling them, but telling them, no matter what they did, telling their children to school is too far. You're going too far.
Correct. I mean, if they are being charged with something, then say what the charging documents say. But why do you have to go a step further and say, well, they go to this school over here? No.
Well, you and I both went out and we protested to be come down with unfounded accusations on these people without any proof. As if the trial already happened. You know what I'm saying? They were found guilty of something. They decided their day in court. They did something wrong. I thought they made a day in court. Like everybody else, like any American. And don't convict them with the media. And we both went out there and went to bat for them, because the state attorney, she's really helped our community by stopping the arresting of people for some, as she said, that white people were let go for. 95% of the people that they were locked up for
Correct.
level. So why just bring in black people? What she was saying, okay, bring some white people in too, and I'll prosecute both. But I'm not going to just prosecute black people. I wouldn't do it either. I have one more thing that I wanted to say, and it's about our meeting or our rally. We have a rally on at Southern City Hall, which is going to be closed, of course. But that's the same. It's for our dollar house. In our dollar house program, what we're trying to do is stop the extraction of wealth from our community. You got developers coming in here, wealthy developers, taking this government money that's supposed to be coming to our community for our community, and they're from outside. In some cases, come from out of state, taking this money, building $300,000 row houses, or rebuilding $300,000 row houses, and not even hiring people connected to the community. You know,
correct.
Whatever to increase their wealth. What we want is we want the city to tell us for $1. We want them to we want to train young people in the trade. You know, people who are in the criminal justice system. We have a judge who's a part of what we're trying to do. She wants to send young black men caught up the criminal justice system to jobs and jobs training for low-level offenses and get them out of the lifestyle that leads to murder. 81% of people murdered in Baltimore City have criminal records. There's something about the lifestyle that leads to murder. So we want, and she has a 94% success rate with that. You know, as far as recidivism, her recidivism rate is 6%. It's 73% in the city of Baltimore. So we're trying to break the cycle. You know what I'm saying? By if you get people out of lifestyle where 81% of the people that are murdered have criminal records, not all, 81%, but that's a big number. Then you can thereby reduce the murder rate if you reduce the amount of people murdered. The other thing we want to do with the program, we want to use a pool of black contractors, minority contractors, to do a block of houses. We want to put a small minority contract in each house and let that money bounce off in our community a couple times before it goes off to Ohio where these major developers live, wherever they come from.
Correct.
Money should be to enrich rich people. It should be to help our community. What it's intended for, help our community. And at the same time, we want to build houses that are below market rates. We want our people to be able to have generational wealth at $700 a month, $800 a month, 1% interest loans by the time you put in the taxes and the escrows.
Right. So when is the rally?
It's going to be the same day as Dick Mosby's other dollar program that has nothing to do with us. It's going to be Monday, December the 20th, from 5 to 6. 1 hour of your time. But stand up for your people. That's all we ask. 1 hour of your time. Monday, December 20th, from 5 to 6.
All right. I will be there. And hopefully our listenership will join us. Thank you so much. All righty. Thomas, you're on Face to Facts. Good morning.
Kelly, what's going on, my queen? How are you?
I'm here. I'm kicking. What's going on?
Let me set the record straight.
Uh-oh.
Don't get in trouble. The views and opinions I'm about to give. Not Kelly Vaughn, not the station, or its management. So we got that out of the way.
All right.
That little board job meeting that you went into the other day.
Jesus.
I want to try to preface my words correctly, okay?
All right, carefully.
You probably can't confirm or deny because I want to get nobody in trouble. But I would suspect that Erica Bridgeford was part of that meeting.
Well, I don't have to confirm that. She's on their Facebook page. So yeah, that was her.
Okay. She was part of that meeting. Erica Bridgeford works for the mayor of Baltimore City. So therefore, the mayor of Baltimore City, whether he is doing backroom deals with them or straight across the table deals with them, he knew they were going on with this stuff. What they would do, Kelly, they would put these folks, white folks, to come into our community, calling themselves, well, we're going to save you black people from yourselves. So therefore, we're going to put a black person here, we're going to put these white women over here, but all of them are going to collaborate together to try to save the community. What all they're doing is getting your information, turning it over to the mayor, and then all of a sudden he comes up with a plan that's supposed to be his. Like my friend Taco just got off. That dollar
That's no lie, because I remember earlier this year I was at one of the Holmes meeting, which is his organization, and we had a meeting with the mayor's office where he was rolling out the program.
Uh-huh.
So I remember that, and yeah.
Now all of a sudden, Christian Mosby turned around and got a similar, supposed to be a similar program, which that Tyrone just said he has nothing to do with it. If Tyrone came up with this program, why isn't he at the table? Why are you going to bring somebody from New Jersey, Ohio, or Houston, Texas in to oversee the program that this man's got going on? It's a shame and it's a scam. And for that news reporter that was to follow you, let me tell you something. They had nothing but a bunch of scoundrels, okay?
Mm-hmm.
People fail to realize Mackenzie Frost from Fox 45 is Brian Frost's daughter. The Attorney General's daughter from the state of Maryland. Okay?
I'm here. I'm here.
And my thing is this. You know, that station has been so corrupt. Yeah, that's why they have to pay Marilyn Mosby $500,000 because because they went to her daughter's school to try to interview her daughter her child. You don't do that. You don't do that.
I know
it. The kids out of it. The kids ain't got nothing to do with their mom and daddy's politics.
It's a step too far.
If they went too far with it. And if that be the case, Kelly, why can't we go to Stephen Snyder's daughters and sons and put a camera in their face? Oh, I'm going to tell you why that's not going to happen.
Uh-oh.
Because the Snyder law firm is Fox 45's attorneys who went after Marilyn Mosby.
Oh, shoot.
Okay? They went after Marilyn Mosby because she went to the feds on their father, who tried to scam, or who wanted to embezzle, as the word called, as they call it, $50 million from the hospital system. The same people who got Capitol Hill jammed up, he did the exact same thing. He wanted them to pay him $50 million.
He just putting it all out here. I'm glad I ain't said it.
He's trying to beg the Fed not to give him a whole bunch of time. He should be given
oh,
in jail.
Well, Thomas, thank you so much for just peeling out and running off facts for us today. You know, on my 1 year anniversary, I want to thank you for saying all the things that I done kept my lips buttoned about. But you came in here and you always doing this on my show. All right, you got 20 seconds. Go.
Nephew has got to get himself together and start doing for his community. Okay?
Who is nephew?
I call him nephew.
Okay? Brandon Scott. Okay.
Because let me tell you something, Brandon. These white folks don't care about you, man. They don't care about you or your community. You've already spent $148 million
Hey, sis, I love you.
Different agencies or companies, but you ain't spending that money into your community, and you still got our city hall shut down. we gotta have a woodshed talk, man.
All right. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate you. Goodness. Well, guys, that's that's our show for today. If you didn't get all of that juiciness, you can always go to www.wolbbaltimore.com, and we have our podcast there that you can replay any show where you think you missed something, you need to rewind it back. You can go over there and look at it. I'm looking at Dorothy on Facebook. She said he told it all. Love it. Yes, he did, Dorothy. Yes, indeed, he told it all. Well, this has been a great 1 year show. What you say, Sean? We had a great time today. Are you gonna come on air? Come on the air for the 1 year. Do it. Sean, it was a good show, right? Oh, you gonna put hand clips. It's not you coming on air. You listen. Shauna, you on air right now. You're not on air. You're just in my ear. Really? Oh, you on? Oh, come on here, Sean. Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you guys so much for your time, your love, all of your support. I had the pleasure of talking to one of our listeners last week. I'm not going to say his name, but thank you for giving me feedback and bouncing some things off. And just coming with some really positive feedback. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate all of you, every single last one of you. And thank you, Kevin, for the happy anniversary. And I love you guys so much. And I'll be right back next week. Peace. Don't be telling me when to end the show, yo. I had like a good more 30 seconds of talk time. What are you talking about? I'm going to come over there in a minute.
Sunday night. Hey, y'all, it's Miss Patty, and I'm inviting you to my home for a little holiday cheer.
Oh, my God. Is that Patty LaBelle? Her voice is kind of rough. Jesus. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Y'all know me. I'm going to clean up the studio for the next show to come through, but thank you guys so much. It's been because Sean over in his studio and he want to tell me get off the air. I was watching my clock. I had 30 more seconds of talk time if I wanted to, and he was like, "Yeah, get off air. It's time for you to go." And he was saying it in my ear. Y'all couldn't hear it, but I'm gonna stop fussing. Yes, ma'am. Thank you guys so much for your love and your support. And I will see you guys next week when we come back on Thursday to face the facts with Kelly Vaughn. Peace.